What's up, tricksters and tricksetas, and welcome to another free VOD review presented by favorite reading coach, CHARLATAN Papito. Today, at our coaching table, we have my dear friend, Paris. Now, I have coached Paris in my 1-month coaching program, and we are still not finished. Basically, you know, like, he is still under the training, under the influence, under the stuff. This is just like a checkup to see if he is moving in the right direction, and I never got a chance to see his gameplay on Pearl. So today, we need to help our Immortal 3 friend Paris how to play Pearl and how to play Phoenix as well, because as far as I remember, I never saw his Phoenix gameplay. So it's time to learn how to play Phoenix on Pearl. And it's a pretty high elo lobby, to be honest. Like, you know, he's Immortal 2, Immortal 3. Now, my friend is very modest. You know, he is not gonna bother us with any questions. He is just, you know, here is a tracker, here's a VOD, respected. But he can, you know, he can abuse my anal cavity through private messages because, you know, when you get coached by me, I'm there for you 24/7, and you can ask me unlimited amount of questions. If you buy a 1-month coaching, you can share up to 3 clips every single day for a free private review for the rest of your fucking life. And yeah. So now, let's see what Paris is doing right now. Not bad. Actually, not bad. I mean, I'm not gonna go in depth when it comes to his, you know, tracker review, because we recently finished like our 1-month coaching journey. But things are looking better than in the previous act. Like, essentially, your win rate is 52.4% in 80 hours played, which is 1% better than last time. Like, relax, brother. This is a longer, you know, long journey, essentially. Like, whenever you reach a peak rank, MMR will fuck you up a bit. You will be getting plus 50 and losing minus 25. Like, as I told you in our coaching sessions, like, it would be really good if you make 2 accounts and you play on 2 accounts simultaneously, because if you want to reach Radiant next act, for an example, like, you need to have like 60-70% win rate, which in ranked solo queue is almost impossible if you're not duo queuing and if you're not hyper focused every single match. Now, from the previous act, like, you know, all of your stats went up, so I mean, I'm happy. Like, you're not going downwards, which is good from the training that I gave you. So I don't know, man. Like, as long as the stats are going up and the training is working, keep using it. I don't know, like, I'm gonna tell you through private messages, you know, what we're gonna do with your training and aim training and how we're gonna adjust the things. But this is solid. I mean, like, considering how you played in the last 2 acts and this one here, okay, you're starting to feel yourself in these high elo lobbies, and you're playing better. Like, ADR went up, KST is up, KD is up, everything is up. Like, you know, you just need to play more, and I don't know, like, maybe you should focus more on quality over quantity, because, I don't know, like, essentially, if you want to reach Radiant on an account that never got Radiant before, every game you play like a life and death, essentially. And you need to sweat out, unfortunately. Overall, not bad. We got slightly better on Raze, which is where we did most of our coaching. Reyna is working for us because of aim training, probably. A bit better. You're still playing this, so, like, you know, I told you when it comes to the Sova pick, I mean, you're solid on Sova, on the maps on which you're playing him, but I feel that the duelist role, you know, suits you a bit better. Like, you know, if you give Phoenix some proper love, you see your performance on Phoenix here, very fucking good. Yes, the win rate is a bit lower. That means that we can do something better to control the outcome of the rounds and to win more rounds. So, I don't know, I would, if I was you, I would give Phoenix a bit more love. You know, maybe a new duelist is gonna be good for you. but solid. I mean, I have really nothing to shit about, like, you're on a good trajectory. Clutch percentage is still a bit low. Like, I never heard from you since we finished our coaching, so maybe, you know, every day you can share with me, like, 1, 2, 3 clutch clips where you lose these clutches, so we can talk about why the fuck you lose them, and how you can play them better. Other stats looking better. Not too shabby. Amount of last deaths is still... I mean, it's okay for this quote-unquote high elo, but maybe you can value your life a bit more. We'll see in the VOD review, like, what you're doing, but your KST is... Muy bien, muy bien, muy bien. Excelente, excelente. And our problem this act is attacker's side. Was that the problem last time as well? I mean, it's not a problem, but you're still playing, yeah. I mean, it got a lot better. It got a lot better than in this episode, like, a lot better. But we can still do something better on the attack. I mean, your KD went up by 0.09, KST by a few percentages, but round win percentage is still, like, critical. Critical hit. I don't know, when it comes to the agents, like, still, like, you know, my athletic king, you are, like, it works for you, you know, Raze, Reyna. I would just, as I said, like, I would just give Phoenix a bit more love on these maps where I want you to play Phoenix that we talked about. You can continue playing Sova, and I think it's just a matter of time when the winner's queue kicks for you, to be honest. Because things are looking fine. You know, there's no reason to change something if it is working. You see, on Haven you feel with the Sova a lot. Yeah, that is the VOD review we did, Haven on Sova. And I told you that you should consider maybe instead of playing Sova, playing something else. Like, we can run it down with Reyna. Maybe run it down with Phoenix, I don't know, Raze, like, whoever, like, it doesn't matter. And on Lotus, we have a problem with the Raze. I mean, not a problem, like, to be honest, you don't have a problem on any map. Like, on every map, you are performing. Like, this win rate can be impacted by what type of mentally disabled teammates you get as well in ranked solo queue. Abyss, a bit of Soimus Rex. I don't know, man. As I told you, like, as I told you, if you don't need to fix something, there is no reason to complicate things. Agents are working for you. So, 3 recommendations. Like, first of all, I firmly believe if you continue doing what you're doing right now and doing the training and aim training that I shared with you originally, next act, we're gonna get, for the first time ever, Immortal 3, 400 rank rating. I can guarantee you that the next act, you're gonna finish at 400 rank rating. Because the rank got reset, you started at Ascendant 1, ba ba boo ba ba ba. You needed to grind back to Immortal 3. But on the, you know, try on the maps like on which you don't find success with Raze and Sova, maybe some of these other agents that you're playing, you know, just test it out. Like, it's not gonna cost you that much, but you do perform, like, in a lot of games. Like, every match you're kind of positive, to be honest. The only thing I would also recommend you is on the days where the things are not working, don't spam too many games. You know, like, for example, this day, if I was you, I would also play 6 matches. Why? Because in the first 2 matches you played solid, not bad, like, and then I would continue. But I don't know, for example, this day. Like, if I won this match, 13-1, and then I lost these 2 games, and especially this last one, where we underperformed a bit. I mean, you were probably, like, second or third, yeah, the third fragger. I don't know. Like, this would be the game where I stop for that day. Absolutely. But I don't know, like, you know, looking solid, especially some of these maps, like you are destroying these noobs. Keep up the good work. Keep up the confidence. Hit me through private messages. We need to do something better in these 1 versus 1 and 1 versus 2 situations. Like, we need to improve your clutch percentage with better adaptiveness and better thinking. Also, abuse my anal cavity when it comes to the attacker side. Like, on attack, we're still suffering a bit. Not as much as we did in the last act. But, yeah, last act was horrible, man. Like, actually, you had a 47% win round percentage last act. Looking really nice. Looking very good, very nice. I don't know what to say. Like, I like it. It means that everything is working for you. You know, the training, aim training, like, it's paying off, like, 52.4% win percentage, like, you're playing solo queue, like, you cannot expect getting Radiant on a fresh account in just 2 months. I mean, if you want to get Radiant on a fresh new account, you need to play, like, around 300 hours in 1 act and have a 60% win rate. So, good luck with that. Like, you know, that's almost impossible for a player that never got Radiant. I mean, just look at the Shanks for an example. Like, Shanks was always a Radiant player. He was also a pro player in North America. It's almost impossible getting a Radiant on a fresh new account within 1 act. Valorant wants you to grind, wants you to play the game. Just don't give up. We talked about this. It is very important that you keep a high mentality, high confidence. Eventually, you're gonna get it with this type of a performance. Like, eventually. Like, it's impossible that you don't get it. But, let's see what you can do better on Pearl, and especially Phoenix, because I still believe that Phoenix can be a great pick for you. Amazing pick for you. Unless the next duelist is some kind of a giga carry machine, and then we're just gonna, you know, like, I'm gonna switch you on that duelist to give you my instant playbook for that duelist, because I'm sorry, chat, but basically, like, I make playbooks for maps and agents always a bit faster for my private students, so the general public is lagging a bit, like always. Okay, now let's see what you know, what he is doing on Pearl and what he can do better with Phoenix. Okay, now let's see what our friend Paris is doing on a defender side of Pearl. First, the LDR. On Pearl, your default bomb set number 1 priority B site, number 2 priority A site. But Pearl is a fast rotation map, so generally speaking, you don't give a shit that much about B site and A site defense. Simply said, on this map, you value the team play over the map control, and you want to play the proper refray game with your allies. Now, on this map, you value the control of the mid area of the map over the bomb sites. So whenever your teammates are having a problem defending the connector, Link, and Art, help them, you know, be there for them, essentially. Another mistake that players make on Pearl is you never want to sell this and this map control for free. You need to have the information whether or not enemies are crossing this line and whether or not enemies are crossing this line right here. So your starting position cannot be this or this, for an example. Now on Pearl, whenever you have no idea where the enemies are gonna go, and whenever enemies are eco, hull by bonus, or, you know, they have low economy, you start your round somewhere here. Essentially in the B-Link connector or in the Art. And you're playing fast rotations between B site, A site, and everywhere on the map. Your main priority is team play, refray potential. Essentially, like, if you see that your teammates are aggressing something, you think they're gonna die, help them, support them, make sure they don't die for free. Now, first round, always start in the connector and play fast rotations between B, A, and mid. Essentially, only God can tell you in the first round where the enemies are gonna go. And if your gamble is incorrect, you're gonna have a really hard time retaking these two bomb sites. I mean, really bad time, essentially. So, with a Phoenix, Ghost with a Molotov, or classic pistol, light shield, Molotov, and wall. You start the round inside of the connector, jiggle picking or holding the doors, whatever you want to do. If the enemies are pushing and coming, you can maybe try to Molotov them, try to split them apart, try to kill one enemy, pull yourself back into connector, and play with your teammates. If enemies are pushing A, fast rotation towards the A site. If enemies are pushing B, fast rotation towards the B site and support your teammates on A and B site. Now let's see what our friend Paris is doing in the first round. So we are basically giving the B for free. Very bad idea. B retakes are much harder than the A retakes. You don't want to do that, especially not in the first round.
I can't push it. He's gonna wall.
Solid Molotov there, like to delay the enemy's push. But to be honest, like since there is 3 of you guys playing here, doing this Molotov to deny the enemy's push is not really the best idea. It would be much better if you simply fought the enemies. We have a flash, we have 2 teammates with ourselves, we can make something out of it. And it would be much better if we save this Molotov to maybe heal ourselves, or to maybe split the enemies apart or kill them once they start pushing into the site. I mean, here we invested like slow orb, wall, and Molotov just to deny the enemies push in the first 10 seconds. Wait, a lot of utilities wasted. Now they can just re-hit and it's gonna be interesting with a Yoru pop flash and... yeah. I mean, right now, like, listen, like, when you're positioning yourself and holding the push of the enemies, you need to ask yourself, like, what can the enemies do to fuck you up? Like, enemies have a Yoru with a potential flash. We need to have the cover for our eyes. Like, right now, where you should be playing is probably closer to this wall, waiting for your Astra and Sage to get the first pick, and then you can counter the Yoru flash with your own flash, and then take the kill onto the enemies. What rank is this? Immortal 3. 200, 300 rank rating, something like that. Okay.
We have life.
Yeah.
This over-aggression that you did here is totally fine. I mean, you had a flash. Why not? You know that enemies are behind the wall. We could have gotten a kill. No problemo. No stresso.
One enemy remaining. Spike down A.
I have a flash.
Flawless. Reloading.
Okay. I mean, the gamble paid off. That we gamble on the A site. But generally, you don't want to do this on Pearl, because if your gamble is incorrect, you're gonna have a really interesting time retaking the B site, and you don't want to do that in the first round of Pearl. Now, like, if you win the first round of Pearl, second round, once again, you always start in the connector. You can play with a Bulldog, Spectre, Stinger, Outlaw, whatever you prefer. With Phoenix, probably, like, you should just buy a Bulldog with a heavy shield and utility. Like, maybe one Molotov, one flash, or a wall. And simply defend this area of the map. Play fast rotations once again, because whenever enemies are equal hull by or bonus on the attacker side of Pearl, chances are above 80% that they're going to do something here. Very rarely enemies are going to push B, or that the B site is going to be the first contact, essentially, between yours and the enemy team. If you lose the first round, you gamble on the B side. You can play classic pistol shorty at the back side and bait the enemies. Or you can buy a sheriff, try to go for some one-taps, like abuse the off angles, and that's it. I mean, especially here, like, there's no reason for you to play, you know, on A site. Because we have a Sage. Sage is gonna wall. She has slow orbs. So even if the enemies decide to push A site, I mean, they're gonna be delayed for a lot of time. But also, whenever enemies are eco halber bonus on the attacker side, you don't wanna aggress them. Number one, you don't wanna isolate some pointless 1v1 fights in which you can easily die, 50-50 fights where you cannot escape, and also you don't want to showcase the enemies to the enemies your best outplays, your best plays that you want to do on that specific map. Like for example here, there is no way that I would ever push this art area of the map or peek the enemies, just to not give the enemies an idea that I like doing that. In the third round we can do that with a flash and try maybe to get the kills in the bonus round. But here, like, just play passively, chill, you know, jiggle peek the angles, hold tight angles, hold safe positions, and try to win this round based on the gun advantage that you have, and based on the refrag potential.
Nothing gay. B? On their eco? Are we for real? Come back.
Okay.
When they come here, I flash and we fight.
Flash.
You clone.
Don't peek. This is basically why you always play, like, and start the second anti-eco round instead of the connector. Like, chances are much higher that the first contact between yours and enemy team is gonna happen in mid.
Art.
Enemy spotted A.
I need help on art, guys.
I'm here.
Two guys art, success.
Listen, like, just in the first 4 rounds, do faster rotations, like on Pearl. And then in the 5th round, decide how fast you should be rotating. I mean, here, for example, like,
I'm here.
enemies stop their push through the art,
Two guys art, success.
but your Gecko got a contact with the enemies in the B-link. He flashed the enemies in the B-link, you're instantly running towards the connector, towards the B-link, and helping your Gecko.
Wait, this gecko is no connector.
Enemy down.
Listen, if you make numbers advantage on Pearl, like a true numbers advantage, such as 4 versus 3, fuck the map control. Literally, completely fuck the map. You don't need connector, you don't need CT, you don't need art, you don't need A side, B side. Like, just focus on the minimap. Ask yourself, who is the first ally that has the highest chances of dying right now or getting in a fight with the enemies? Right now, the answer is Sage. Yes, enemies can be in the connector, in the B-link. Let the Astra deal with that potential lurk, flank, or whatever. You should right now be together with a Sage, fighting the remaining enemies on mid, connecting with Wise and Sage, clearing that area of the map, and then we pay attention on every other possibility.
Spike down mid. One enemy remaining.
Okay. Okay, solid. So in the first round, enemies went A. In the second round, they tried to push mid. Whenever this happens to you, you can immediately activate the AB rule to read the enemies. And in the third round, we can position ourselves on the B side, obviously. Now, in this round, we have a Spectre and a Ghost. How should we play this round? Like, your primary win condition and basically potential to get a kill is inside of the elbow, of course. Like, we primarily want to kill the enemies in this area of the map once they initiate the execute through this choke point. But we should not be starting too passively. Like, essentially, what we should be doing is starting here with a Ghost or even with a Spectre. Like if enemies have a Astra with a fake smoke, when the fake smoke appears, go for a few bullets, try to deal some damage onto the enemies and kill them. And then we can position inside of the elbow, holding this angle, trying to one-tap one more enemy, and then we're waiting for the enemies to come inside of this choke point. When enemies are close with the Phoenix, simple pop flash, try to kill one enemy, go back. Then enemies are maybe planting the spike, molly them, more enemies are pushing the elbow, flash them, take the kill, that's it. Your job is done. Generally with the Phoenix, I mean, on Pearl, you have a lot of kill potentials with your flash, because there's a lot of these two-directional angles, where you can pop flash the enemies on one side and pick them from the other side, and where you can surprise the enemies with a pop flash. Like basically, playing aggressively with Phoenix, you can do it as long as your teammates are destroying the enemy's recon abilities. You can play around this sign here, wait for the perfect moment of time to strike, flash the enemies from one angle, pick them from another, take a kill, we can escape towards the B-link, or we can get here and then do it again. But we should not be starting this passively and immediately playing inside of this position. Now, let's try to pressure the enemies in the B-main area of the map. Maybe you get a kill. Like basically in Valorant, the more things you try, the more success you're gonna find. Maybe, like, who knows? Astra does the smoke here. You do this. Maybe you get a kill. You never know. Even if you don't get a kill. You don't get a kill, no problem. No problemo. Like, you probably damage the enemies a bit. 50, 60, 70, 100 damage. We can use that damage later to finish off these enemies. But starting immediately on this position, I mean, not really the best idea ever. Like, in Valorant, whenever you're defending some bomb site, like, or some area of the map, your job is to abuse as many, different possible opportunities to kill the enemies, damage them a bit, and then the last angle on which we fight the enemies should be a 50-50 fight where we commit ourselves into the fight. Like first, okay, it's a bonus round, I understand, we cannot really fight enemies with a Spectre on this range. Start here, do this, fuck it, like, we didn't get a kill, no problem. Let's get here, jiggle pick the enemies, try to kill them. Enemies are getting closer, smoked off, they're here, flash, take a kill, get out.
Something B.
Okay. These enemies that you're playing against right now are mega predictable. They're following all of the rules that we follow in Valorant to read the enemies. And whenever you're playing against these type of enemies, like, as long as they're following these rules and they're not changing something, you're positioning based on these rules on a defender's side. Period.
Okay.
That's the smokes.
Take off your stars on A.
Stepping along, many long.
Listen, whenever you get surprised like this by enemies, like, so you're playing Phoenix. You're playing Phoenix. You're holding the flash in your hands. And enemies peek you, they dash on you, teleport on you, or satchel on you. Flash yourself and the enemies as well. Like, that will give you much higher chances of surviving that duel, rather than trying to pull your gun out and then fight the enemies, because you don't have a gun out, essentially. Like you're useless. You cannot fight the enemies for 1 second. Fuck it. Flash everyone, and you will have like at least 30% higher chances of winning that duel, rather than trying to pull your gun out and then fight the enemies. And anyways, brother, like, we're playing against Yoru. Like, this type of a play, at this skill level, we should be expecting. Like, you should be expecting the Yoru to do the teleport instead of the elbow with a pop flash.
Stepping along, many long.
Like here, for example. You should have, like, another reason why you should do this is the following. That Yoru doesn't know what to expect. Like, basically, that Yoru is gonna expect you with a gun out to fight you. And he is gonna be looking directly at you. You do this, chances are that you're not gonna flash yourself. To be honest, I don't know how this doesn't flash us at all, but you get a point. Like, you know, you can jump, do this, and then try to kill the Yoru. Now, who's gonna win that duel? Only God knows. But you have much higher chances of surviving that duel instead of trying to pull the gun out and now fight the Yoru. You will be dead most of the time. But, I mean, listen, we're playing in Immortal 3 yellow. You're not playing in, you know, peanut butter lobbies anymore. This is not Bikini Bottom. Enemies have a Yoru in their team. Like, we should be expecting this teleport 24/7. 24/7. Like, it is very easy to see this teleport. Like, if you're just standing closer to this wall, you can always see it. Like, just look towards the wall until the enemies are close. If Yoru is not teleporting, pick the enemies with a flash and that's it. But you need to expect this type of a play. Like, I mean, it's so common, like, it's just stupid, man.
Get low.
Okay, our Astro clutched this somehow. Now, since enemies are following the AB rule, rule of fear, and all of the economy rules, where do we play in this 4th round? Once again, either in art, I mean in the B connector, in the B link, essentially. But we can also start in art and play a fast rotation towards our gecko.
Ο Τζέκο μην χαρακτήρας θα κάνει hold.
Once again, because enemies are eco, there is no reason to be this aggressive. Like, you don't want to do this type of a play when enemies are eco, halberd, bonus. Go for these aggressive plays with Phoenix when enemies are... When either you're equal in terms of economy, or you're on some kind of a back foot. Like, you have a sheriff only. I don't know, like Marshall, Stinger, like, I don't know, some kind of a shit weapon. Because, you know, you're just risking dying here for no reason. And number 2, you're showcasing the enemies that you like to be aggressive. So it's very good that you didn't do it. Very good.
Can you smoke it? They've taken back the arm.
Seems like some fake pressure.
Could be, yeah.
Okay.
All good, we have full info on B and...
A bit of a gambling setup, but... You know, like, basically, you can play like this on Pearl as much as you want. Essentially, like, on a defender side, everything is about refrag potential, fighting with your teammates, and that's it. So how you're playing this round right now, absolutely fine. Absolutely fine. Like, you know, leaving the B side open, enemies are eco, hull by... Who the fuck cares? Even if they take the B site, nobody gives a shit. Like, we can easily retake that site with more utility and guns that we have over the enemies.
Seems like you got put it on.
Weapon here. Good attempt.
Last 3 have vandals.
Nothing, guys. Just leave A, leave A, leave A, leave A.
Nothing B.
Listen here. Whenever your teammates leave the connector, B-link, or art, turn your focus towards that area of the map more. You know, fuck the A main, fuck the B main. Like, especially when you lose the connector control, defender side of Pearl becomes like 10 times harder. Because enemies can maybe lurk through the CT, they can lurk through the connector left and right. You don't want to, you know, think about that opportunity. Right now, we should simply be connected with the gecko, regaining the connector control, and holding the art and connector.
Oh, good, give A. It's mid. Or B.
I hit the shot
Nothing
every
good.
time.
Mid,
Once again here, you should be moving with the gecko. especially because your whole team left the site. I mean, right now, you know, we are 5 versus 3. We don't really care where the enemies are going to end up and what they're going to do. The only thing we care about is we need to make sure that we can refrag our most aggressive teammate or teammate that has the highest chances of dying. Simplify your gameplay as much as you can. You'll find much more success in ranked solo queue.
Art. I have good timing, just wait for me. I will kill them for a minute.
Good timing gonna
You should have played with your Gecko right now.
30 seconds left.
And you know, like when you're selling the map control like that, you know, occasionally check your back, you know, like check if the enemies are behind you. But focus on more focus more on what your teammates are doing, essentially.
They wall me up.
Yeah, wait for me.
Shame.
Let him go.
They're going there, every one of them. I have
Equally.
flash.
One enemy remaining.
Let me kill. Ult. Let me kill.
hub.
Okay, so enemies are, you know, still following the A, B, C, D, E, F, G. But in this round we have a bit of a problem. Like, most of the times in ranked solo queue, when enemies have a Gecko ultimate, they're gonna push you either through the art or through the aim with that ultimate. So that ultimate kinda overrides like every other rule that we follow to read the enemies on the defender's side. So, you know, if you see that enemy Gecko has the ultimate, once again, like, you need to either aggress the enemies in aim and take this map control, maybe with a Sage Wall. You can ask your Ashra or anyone to give you this smoke and try to stab the enemies a bit and kill them. Or start, you know, around the art and play a fast rotations between these two positions. This is the perfect round in which we should maybe go for the aggressive play in the art on mid. You know, doing the pop flash, trying to kill one enemy, and then slowly pulling ourselves back towards the art. Let's see if he's gonna do it.
Who's next?
People there.
Let's go. Okay.
Do that. Oh, okay. One more A. Two more A.
Very good. Like, I mean, you can quite literally see that this guy got coached by me. Like, he is kind of following. I mean, he's literally following all of these rules that I'm explaining right now. Like, and really good. Like, I have nothing to shit about. Essentially, the only thing that can be a bit better for you are the mid rounds. You know, like in the mid rounds, you kind of get lost, and you don't support your teammates well enough. Like, you don't observe what the fuck they're doing. Like, you kind of fight way too much for the map control when there is no reason to fight for it.
We have worked for it, I think.
Good Molotov to deny the spike plant and the plant in that position, and to maybe kill the Gecko's wingman later. But listen, like, another thing that you should have done here, when you did that Molotov, you should have went instead of this smoke. I mean, enemies are coming out onto the bomb site. You have this smoke in front of yourself. We are 4 versus 4, but 2 of our teammates are fighting at the backside, the enemies that are pushing through A main. These are the type of opportunities that you need to take with Phoenix. 2 pop flashes. Flashes that are mega hard, almost impossible to dodge, because it's very hard to notice them and, you know, they instantly pop. Like, we need to use these opportunities. Like, if the situation was a bit different, you know, maybe you were like 5v3, or enemies were eco and hull by, that is the moment of time where you should not risk it that much. You know, there's no reason to do it, essentially. But here we are 4 versus 4. Enemies are full buy. We are full buy. We have this beautiful smoke that we can abuse. Enemies are coming out. They are fully open. You don't need to second guess in these type of situations what you should do. Flash. Take a fight. Done. So basically, while you were using that Molotov on the site, you should have walked into the smoke and tried to pop flash the enemies on timing and get the kills. What is the perfect timing to go for this type of place when enemies are distracted by your teammates? Like basically, like, you know, enemies are fighting your teammates that are at the backside, that are in the pit right here. Just wait. We can do a backwards flash if none of your teammates are here, or you can do just a regular flash and take the kills. And, you know, when you're doing the Phoenix flashes, like, try also to hide them a bit. You know, don't always do them in the exactly horizontal line. Like, this flash here is amazing, especially because you can easily peek together with that flash and take some free kills.
Spike planted. One enemy remaining.
One more main.
Very nice.
Last
2 main.
spike planted.
Very nice, very nice.
One enemy remaining.
One more main.
Last
Good
player
job.
standing.
Good job. Good job. Now, we're back at the ground zero. Enemies are half by eco again. Actually, they have money because they have been losing a lot, sorry. Like, okay, they're not half by. So, we stopped enemies push 2 times on the same site. This is the round where we can use the rule of 3 executes to read the enemies, but also we can use the rule of fear as well. Like in ranked solo queue, especially in the high elo lobbies, very rarely enemies are gonna execute the same site 3 rounds in a row. Like, chances of enemies executing the same site in the same way 3 rounds in a row in high elo lobbies is like below 20%. So right now, in the ideal case scenario, you should be in the B connector, ready to do a fast rotation towards B site, and ready to support your teammates in art as well. But also we can do this play as well, because I don't think that enemies really realized what we did the last round, because when the enemies were executing A site, maybe they heard this flash, but there was so much shit happening in the A main, Yoru ultimate, Yoru flash, our Sage dropping the slow orbs. There is a chance they didn't notice that we want to go for this aggressive play. So, sure, we can do this as well, no problemo. Listen, don't turn your crosshair. Like, I've noticed another problem in your gameplay. A lot of the times, like, you're kinda disrespecting enemies and timings. Like, yes, I mean, right now you hear a lot of the footsteps in the A main area of the map. But God knows if that's like 5 enemies there. Like, for example, if enemy that is playing on mid starts the round by doing this, he has an amazing timing to counter your flash and also to wrap you up pretty fast if you decide to play in the art area of the map. So if you wanted to go for this play and you only cleared this portion, so you didn't see this and you didn't see an enemy getting up here, when you're wrapping back towards the site, you need to pay this is how we need to go back. Like, crosshair is here and we're moving slowly towards the bomb site. Don't give anal cavity to the enemies. And also when you're playing Phoenix and you're playing in art and enemies are doing a very fast execute, do this. Like, with this molly, you can deny a lot of the space to the enemies and deny the enemies execute while you're rotating from art towards this position here. Especially if the enemies already use their smokes, you know, and they want to do some super fast execute. If you're in art, like, just do the molly here, rotate. But in this scenario, like, we have the Sage in our team. I mean, she's doing the slorps anyway, so it doesn't matter that much.
ISO no shield, guys. Ah, he took
It's you and me.
Alright.
You have shield.
Yeah.
Once again, you're wasting your time a bit. You have ultimate, you have flashes. Like, right now, you should be fully mentally ready to fight the enemies that are pushing onto site. Like, as soon as you see here the first step of the first enemy getting through the choke point, insta ultimate, insta flashes, molotovs, you're out.
Well, 120 euro mid.
That is the guy that I was talking about. I mean, like, essentially, that's why you need to pull yourself back from art with a crosshair, like, towards the art. I mean, you didn't die because of that. Just pay attention on that timing a bit more. Like, you're kind of playing like you don't give a fuck. You know? Probably because we're winning 5-0. But brother, like, in Valorant, you can easily lose. Imagine that you're winning 10-2. You can easily lose on the opposite side. Because you never know how good your teammates are gonna play on the opposite side. Like, on one side, you might have 10s in your team. On the opposite side, you have 4 11s. And it's gonna be an interesting game. And also, I don't, like, another thing I don't understand is, why are you taking this fight as a 50-50 duel? You're playing Phoenix, for God's sake. You have ultimate, you have 2 flashes. You know the exact location of the enemy that is peeking you right now. Like, what? You know? Like, why would you take this duel as a 50-50? Like, wait for that Yoru to peek this angle. Take an easy kill. At the end of the day, use your ultimate only to kill that Yoru. I mean, we didn't know that's Yoru. He can teleport away. But I would have still used my ultimate just to kill this idiot. Stay alive. We're 4 versus 4 right now. We can maybe run it back towards the main. Maybe get some kills in this area of the map, and that's it.
My ultimate's ready.
I mean, playing Phoenix and not fighting with his utility is kind of sad, because his flashes are really powerful. Like, it's very easy to use them on Pearl to get an advantage in every single fight.
120 euro mid.
Like, you kind of lost this round, you know? Like, I mean, you were not alive to control it. That's a problem. Don't, like, one of the worst mistakes you can do in Valorant is letting your guard down once you start winning a lot. Like, since close beta, I cannot explain, I cannot illustrate how many games in my private coaching sessions went from, I don't know, 10-2, 9-3, 8-4 to like 13-11, overtime draw, overtime lose, stuff like that. Like, you need, like, Valorant is a very mentally taxing game. And the more you're winning, the higher your focus should be in the game. Essentially. Because your teammates are gonna start giving less fuck. They'll be going for more like 50-50 plays, some unreasonable stuff, taking some fights that they should never take, and you will have to be the guy that is focused on closing out the match and figuring out what is the next step to do.
Close the game.
Can
Call
you
flash,
wait? Vice, where are you going?
Okay, so let's observe this start of the round. Can enemies go B in this round? Probably. I mean, we have no idea. But we have nobody on B anyways, like our whole team is stacking towards the A set, so it's fine. I mean, we have Astra, Vi, Sage, and Gecko playing A and Art. They can probably defend it. You have Ultimate, Wall, Flash, 2 Flashes, and Molotov. And you decide for your starting position to play one and done angle from which you cannot safely escape. I mean, yes, you can use a wall to jump away, but even that is risky. Mega risky. For no reason. Right now, your win condition is fucking up the enemies with the ultimate. That's your win condition. You can easily get 1-2 picks with the ultimate and then play retake with your teammates. Like this round, you know, like let's start once again, you know, maybe on some kind of a safe angle, such as this one here. We just stay for 1 bullet, 1 burst fire. Like maybe we can start in the elbow, go for 1 tap, 1 burst fire, 1 bullet. Then we can play maybe here or play here. Flash enemies as they're coming in, try to kill them. Then enemies are moving in. Let's use the ultimate. Aha, Yoru teleported to the backside. Let's kill that motherfucker. Enemies are planting the spike. Let's deny the plant of the wingman. And we delay the enemy's push for like, and plant for like 15, 20, 30 seconds. We got like 3, 4, 5, 6 different chances to kill the enemies. And we are well and alive inside of the CT, waiting for our teammates to rotate. So this doesn't make sense.
I will leave my thorns tonight.
I wanted someone to break that Gecko flash for me.
Right.
I mean, even though you have a wise wall right here, the problem is like they have a Yoru. Yoru is 100% going to TP flash backside. 1,000,000%. Then second enemy might be coming over this wall. You might find yourself in a pinch where you cannot use your ultimate to win that round. Like whenever you get Phoenix ultimate in any round, you're instantly asking yourself, how can I use this ultimate to get the kills? It's only 6 ultimate points. Like you want to use it as soon as possible, basically.
They're here. Mas já agora não me espera aqui
And, you know, in this long-range area of the map, Phoenix Flash is not really the most reliable shit that you should rely on. You know, it doesn't last that long and enemies can take a lot of cover for their eyes. Like, basically, the best, you know, the best kill potentials with a flash, you have around this cover, picking the enemies together with a flash, around this cover, picking the enemies together with a flash, at the backside, trying to take the kills, onto the enemies that are maybe here, etc. But, you know, this type of a play is solid when you have one teammate that is baiting for you. When enemies are fully distracted, you know exactly where are the enemies. And primarily with this flash, you're trying to kill the enemies that are here and here. You don't want to overpeak this angle, because if the enemies were hiding from the flash, and they didn't get flashed, like they're here or maybe up here, if you overextend with your peak, like you go all the way on this position, I mean, you're not gonna have a lot of fun time, you know, fighting the enemies. But I just don't understand, why did you decide to play this round in such a risky and unnecessary way? You're playing Phoenix, you have ultimate, bro, like, relax, you know? Oh, we got revived.
You can do that too.
Okay, they went on A. Yeah, that spot. I don't know what to tell you about that spot of using the ultimate. The problem is, like, enemies are 3 versus 2. We should expect the enemies to do some kind of an aggressive play. Like, right now we have a problem where enemies had a lot of time to get here here, and here. So how would I play this 3v2? Essentially, I would let one of my teammates go through this CT position. Like I'll tell Sage go CT or whatever. And together with the Gecko, we take this area of the map without using the ultimate. And then from this position, we use the ultimate. So even if this enemy is lurking behind us, he doesn't have that good of a timing to kill us here. Essentially. And plus, with the ultimate from this position, we can clear enormous amount of angles. Like basically we can clear the site, clear this. We can molly this spot so that we don't need to run into A main. Then after we molly that, we can run towards the art, clear the art as well, and gain this huge map control for our team.
Oh shit. Wait. Okay. Panos on the enemy team.
One to left, take it, hey.
Är mad.
And I mean, you should have observed this. I mean, like none of your teammates went through the pit. Like we needed to expect a guy in the pit. But the perfect retake here is what I literally showcased to you. Like you should have been focused on taking this control without using the ultimate. I mean, you can just come to this corner, use a pop flash, clear this area of the map, get all the way up here, check the pit with a jiggle pick, and then take the space.
On the enemy team.
Why does every Greek player plays Phoenix?
One to left, take it, hey.
Är mad. Lackar.
How do you know he's Greek, bro? Huh? What the fuck? How do you know he's Greek?
One.
Even I forgot that shit, bro.
How?
So in one round, you made more mistakes than you made in this whole match, basically.
Who's next?
Yeah, people there. I think.
Now listen. Observe the enemy's ultimate status. Like 90% of times, when enemies have specific ultimate, they will use that ultimate in the same way that they've used it in the previous round. 80-90% of times. Because players in ranked solo queue are autopiloting a lot. Last time when the Yoru had ultimate, where did they go? A. They executed A site. So, where should have we play this round? B connector. No one is guarding the mid. No one is... Basically, if you're second guessing where the enemies are gonna go on Pearl, simply start here. Like, if you wanna autopilot and you don't give a shit, start here and just play fast rotations.
Just go A every time. A should be.
No.
Like, always do that. Like, always do that. Fuck it. Numbers don't lie. You know, even if you're wrong, like, and you start inside of the B connector, you're always right. Because if enemies are pushing B side, they need to travel through such a long area of the map in order to get to this choke point. Like, just calculate this shit. Like, you know, when you go through here to here, it is literally identical distance. Like, as the enemies are reaching this choke point, you're reaching this position, or this angle, or maybe behind the site, below the site. You're ready to fight them. If enemies are pushing A site, your teammates should be getting the contact here. You will not have that good of a timing to support your teammates, but you can get inside of the enemy smoke, get ready to maybe use some wall to block off the enemy's vision, then flashes, separating the enemies apart, etc, etc. Like, this is like your default position on this map. Like, if you already wanna, you know, autopilot and if you need to gamble a lot. If you cannot read the enemies, essentially.
You have us, I would forget.
Lär.
I don't know what is this smoke setup, man. Like, how do we have two smokes up there, man? Like, what is this, bro? Like, enemy club did two smokes in the same place. I mean, like, the second smoke kind of fucked you up, to be honest. Like, personally, I would not expect this as well. I don't know what to tell you. Like, this was a bit unlucky, to be honest. Like, I mean, what the fuck is this, bro? Like, you know, like, if there was no smoke here, he would have had a vision on Clove, you know, and he would have got a kill probably. But because of this second smoke, like, I mean, the guy got cucked. His P got delayed for a second, and then, you know, yeah. The smoke is for CT, is just bad.
All out.
Confuse yourself to confuse others.
Plant.
Here.
You should.
Okay, now when it comes to the Gecko's ultimate, like, always gamble on art and aim in every other map, but literally always. Like, fuck all of the rules, fuck everything, like, defend the art, defend aim in. And you know, like, when you have Astra in your team, ask Astra to give us, on aim in, this smoke as a default smoke. Like, we should have this smoke, like, in every single round where the enemies are full by. Blocks off the enemy's vision. We have a one-way smoke right here. We can, when you are playing some kind of an eco round, or hull by round, you can maybe get in the smoke, go for the pop flashes with the shotguns, delete the enemies, or even in the full by rounds, you can try to surprise the enemies and play around it in a different way.
Phoenix, don't swing alone. Like, you do it
It's
like.
eco,
times.
bro. What the fuck do you want, bro?
That's
Yes,
fine.
let's just hit.
Right now, you should have went for the aggressive play in the art. Like, it's eco round. You have only a sheriff. Like, do it. Do it. Why not? Why not? Oh, one more tip. Listen. Remember that Gecko's ultimate is going to be cancelled by any damage. So, basically, you spit on the Gecko. His ultimate is gonna be denied. Is gonna be cancelled. That's very important for you as a Phoenix, because if you're doing this Molotov, like this, you can molly the Gecko that is using the ultimate here. Of course, like, you know, it's better if you develop some kind of a lineup and you don't do it like I'm doing it, you know, because it's gonna end up here. But from the art, you can easily develop some kind of a lineup for that spot and deny the Gecko that is using the ultimate. So that is another way for you to basically counter the Gecko. Like, with the run and throw, like, that should be easy, but I don't know any lineups with the Phoenix on this map, to be honest. Yeah, I mean, that's doable. Like, that's easily doable. Give him the Hachtua and cancel that ult.
Do it like.
It's eco,
times.
bro. What the fuck do you want, bro?
That's
Yes,
fine.
let's just hit.
And another reason why we should have pushed the art here is our Gecko is pushing mid alone. And brother, when you have a teammate that is pushing mid, you really want to support him. Actually, let me try to think. I mean, we don't need the exact lineup. Like, you get on the stairs. That's fucking good. That's fucking good. Very fucking accurate. Ha! Lineup minister, man. Like, you just aim on top of this. On top of this. But what is important is, like, how you angle yourself, like, on the stairs. You don't need anything super precise for this. Yeah, as long as it is above this shit, like it's somewhere here, it's gonna go there. What rank is this? Immortal 3.
Look at our Gecko, guys. Maybe it's.
Look at our Gecko, guys.
Nothing to be.
Microsoft support Gecko. Ay, 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 ay. Microsoft support. Okay. This whole round, you just wasted your time because you were, I don't know what was this nonsense communication with your Vice. You should have pushed mid with Gecko. You should have played with Gecko. When your Sage walled the aim in and she started going art, we should have played with our Sage. Like, literally, you wasted like 35 seconds of the round.
One top mid.
Even now, like, what are you doing? Fuck the aim in, bro. Like our Sage is on mid, potentially fighting the enemies. Fight with your teammates. Fight it. Fast rotation map. Like, team play matters more than map control. Done. Period.
He went back somewhere.
Pero la café.
He's going A, going A, going A, going A.
Okay.
Oh, it would be so good right now that we're in the art to cancel the Gecko's ultimate. Because right now, with the Sheriff against the Gecko's ultimate, we're gonna get fucked. Get ready to be fucked.
I have
In
one aim, guys.
3,
Wait, I'm behind them.
2... No, Sage? Sage?
Wait.
Sage is gonna save our anal cavity?
Oh yeah! Monster on the loose!
What? I thought the round is over. Brother, the guy has a stinger. He is behind 3 enemies.
Oh yeah!
1, 2, 3 enemies that are not looking at him.
Monster on the loose!
He gets 1. At least he cancelled the ultimate, to be honest. Why did they implemented shields on ranks? All players will be immortal. Let me correct you. It has never been... Like, right now... Like, every act, it is getting harder and harder to get Radiant. But in the same time, it is getting a bit easier and easier to get into Immortal. You know. The thing is, like, but that's a mastermind plan from Riot Games, man. Like what they're, like, it is insanity, man. Like, literally, Tencent and Riot Games are such a good business, man. Such a good business, bro. It is insane. Insane. Because you're giving players, like, you know, you're making players play Valorant for enormous amount of acts and an enormous amount of time. Because once you reach your peak rank, your MMR gets fucked and you're getting plus 10, plus 15. Then you need to wait another act to reset the MMR and to get a new peak. And it's easier to get Immortal. And then you get to Immortal and you're like, oh, I'm already a high elo player. I'm the best. You're shit, essentially. And you want to get Radiant. And then you spend another 3 years grinding for Radiant. And every act, you buy at least 2 skins. I heard that from one bundle, they earn like 20 millions.
My turn. 30 seconds left.
One backside.
Spike
80.
down.
Okay. This play that you did here was actually really good. Like, really good play. I mean, that timing that we missed on Clove was really, you know. I mean, you heard the Clove getting into sight. we needed to flash much earlier and peek a bit earlier, but
30 seconds left.
to be honest, in an eco round, like, we got 3 kills. We damaged the enemy's economy, so it's okay. But to be honest, this round could have been a lot easier. Like, imagine if you played on mid with a Gecko. Imagine that you pushed behind the enemies together with a Sage. Like, this round would already be over.
One backside.
Spike
8
down remaining.
tanks.
In my honest opinion, game starts from Immortal before it's just a playground. But the thing is, like, 99% of the Valorant community is below Immortal. You know? So 99% of Valorant players are doing something wrong. Like, you know, they I don't know, like, it's a very good business model. That's the whole point.
Nothing gay. Nothing gay. Nothing gay.
I mean, I don't complain. You know, more job for me, which is amazing. You know, and a more easy job, to be honest.
B steps
Watch out, mid.
with as well.
Was this fast rotation good? That is the question right now. Yes. Enemies didn't fake in any round. They were mainly executing the sites they originally push. So, if that is the main playstyle of the enemies, you follow that playstyle until they change it.
Street.
I'm a flash at heaven, you wanna fight?
Watch your eyes.
Spike down B.
Just at heaven, you wanna fight?
Watch your eyes.
Look at this beautiful guy here, man. This is the peak European teamwork, man. Peak European teamwork. Like this guy right here. Fucking Human Torch, man.
Spike down B.
Just you wanna
Okay, listen here. So what you should have done differently? As a Phoenix player, the ability that you're underusing the most is the wall. Like, I've never seen you this whole match use a wall. Like, you need to use the wall to protect your teammates, deny the enemy's executes, reshape the map in your advantage. Like, look at this example. Okay, Gecko flashed you, and he fucked you up a bit. But we have a problem. Like, who is one of our teammates that has the highest chance of dying right now? Our Wise that is behind the site. So, even though enemies have a smoke here, let's do this. Do the molly for the wingman. And now, pop flash the enemies. Take the kills. Kill the Gecko, kill whoever the fuck is here. Pop flash the enemies, take the kills. Or, simply with a wall. Connect with your Vise. And now we can actually play. On a proper reframe potential. Like, you need to start using your wall a bit more to basically create the pop flash opportunities for yourself, to surprise the enemies, to reconnect with your teammates, and to separate the enemies a bit.
Street.
Like, this was the perfect moment to do it. Like, you're blocked by this one-way smoke. You cannot... I mean, you can kind of play around this smoke, but I don't recommend you to do that. Instantly. Curve the wall, get into the elbow, and from the elbow, pop, pop, 2 flashes, 2 kills.
I'm a flash at heaven, you wanna fight?
Watch your eyes.
Spike down.
Like, generally speaking, like, you know, the hardest angle from which you can go for the B set retakes is tower position. Because you're fully overexposed, and having more than one player going through tower is not really the best idea ever. I mean, with a Phoenix, with a Omen, with a Jet, with any smoke character, like, your main job when the enemies are pushing the B site or you're retaking the B site should be getting the elbow control, fighting with your allies here, and then pressuring the enemies on site or wherever the fuck they are. You know, if they're in connector, we can just molly them, pressure them there, flash them on long, take the kills, etc, etc. Phoenix players think of utility as pure gunfight advantages. That's why the Phoenix wall is so underused even in high Immortal. I mean, how you use the Phoenix, like... probably the main difference between a good and an average Phoenix player is how he utilizes the combination of all of these abilities. Like, that's the main difference. Like, this guy that we're WOD reviewing right now, like, the main thing that he is underutilizing is the pop flash potential through enemy smokes, and the wall potential to split the enemies apart and to create advantageous fights for himself. And to reposition as well.
Inside.
Flash! Oh, you ain't coming back. My ultimate's ready.
Good bait.
Not me. We can kill him.
It's you and me.
No, man, you gotta be fucking kidding.
Listen, man. Like, you killed Yoru here. You saw the gecko in the window.
Oh, you ain't coming back. My ultimate's ready.
You got a
Not me.
you got a gun from your dead teammate. You have the ultimate. Use the ultimate immediately. Go into the connector. Use the ultimate to pressure the enemies in aim and on the A site, or to maybe kill that gecko in mid, and that's it.
We can kill him.
It's you and me.
No, man, you gotta be fucking kidding me. Oh, okay, what the fuck, bro? I'm
Here's what.
Stand.
fuck.
Girdim.
Just
Aguas, keep your guard up.
I told you guys. It was 5-0. We're at 5-6. Like, the more you're winning in Valorant, the more you need to focus on what your teammates are doing and supporting them as best as you can.
visions.
Watch your eyes.
Okay, this is a fast rotation. Fast B. Fast B.
My territory.
Fast B. No reason to use ultimate yet.
No, I will try to revive on B. It's B, some people B.
Oh my god, where are they cutting me?
Remove.
Charlatan said to make one once I hit Immortal. I don't have one still, I just hold it. No, I told you that you should not focus on the grip style because grip style is not really holding you back from reaching Immortal. You have other problems that you need to focus on, like, you know, gameplay problems, like raw mechanical problems. Like it's not a grip style only.
Enemy
J'ai commenté
spotted.
sur
By the way,
Come on, let's go.
Flash trap destroyed.
okay,
One on
good.
the left, two in
Spike
pillar.
down B.
Immortal.
Enemy down.
We debated that Sage a bit, but I mean, even if the Sage died, with a pop flash we can peek out, kill that guy. So I mean, it was an okay bait, you know, for a greater cause, greater good. Opinion about Sabaton, good band, I like.
30 seconds left. One enemy remaining.
I don't know. On a generally speaking, on a defender side, you need better utility usage in terms of how you combine your utility when you're fighting the enemies. You need to think about the Molotov a bit more to deny the enemy space and to like separate them in easier fights. You need to like focus more on defending the connector area of the map, art, link, and connector, and gamble a bit more in that area of the map when you have no idea where the enemies are gonna go. If your teammates are fighting the enemies somewhere hard, try to support your teammates as soon as possible. Pearl is a fast rotation map. You really want to play every fight that your teammates are playing. In eco and halba rounds, you can be a bit more aggressive. Aggress the enemies in art, mid, connector, like try to go for some picks with the flash and stuff like that. Fuck your teammates' opinion, you don't care about them. Like, all of the Immortal players are mentally disabled anyways. Like, they're Immortal for the last 5 years. And when you have the ultimate, like, try to mainly rely on the ultimate to win that round. You know? Or when you're really close to the ultimate. Like, try to make your main win condition using that ultimate to kill, like, 1-2 enemies and then play retake on the numbers advantage. Essentially. Abuse more enemy smokes to pop flash the enemies and kill them. I mean, that 2 pop flashes through the B tower were a bit unlucky. When you're going for the retakes of the B site, and generally when you want to support your teammates on B, try to support them from the lower ground. Simply use the wall, get into the elbow, fight your teammates in the elbow. With your teammates in the elbow. Like, fuck the tower, you know, from the tower it's really hard to fight the enemies and then I mean, you're flashing them from very far away, the enemies, and even if you perfectly flash them, that flash is gonna last only 1 to 1.5 seconds. If it is really in the enemy's face, you know, enemies see the flash. Not enough, most of the time. Like, just get into the elbow, fight the enemies around this cover, around the elbow, around this positions, and that's it. Like, very rarely with a Phoenix you should be doing this. Essentially. Most of the times you want to get into the elbow, get onto the site, or go through the connector, and from the B-link, contest the enemies. Try to use Molotov a bit more on the B side, to deny the enemy's plant. And, other than that, I don't have any complaints. Like, everything else we kinda discussed on a defender side. Through this VOD. But Peter, would you still recommend doing the Phoenix Sal plus Silent Peaks like Sensic did back in the day? You can do that. You can do that. Why not? But in some very specific situations, like where the enemies are not gonna expect that, like, I don't know, like, there's 2... Like, for example, you use your ultimate from the connector to push the enemies on A site, but you know that one enemy is in the art. You can drop down and then slowly go to the art, making this guy think that you're going onto the A site, for an example. Like, it's a very situational, like, usage of Phoenix Ultimate. Okay, let's see what he's doing on the attacker side. Let's see now what our friend Paris is doing on the attacker side. First of all, attacker side of Pearl. Still, your default site, number 1 priority, B site, number 2 priority, A site, number 3 priority, mid area of the map. In the first 4 to 6 rounds, you want to primarily test the enemies on B and A, and see how they respond to your 5-man executes. They can also be the splits, but don't start defaulting before you test the enemies, you know, on these 2 bomb sites. Now, if enemies have 0 sentinels, chamber doesn't count. 5-man push onto the A site. 5-man push onto the A site. 3 rounds in a row. In the 4th round, we fake B, go A, fake A, go B. That's it. Enemies have 1 or more sentinels, essentially. 5-man push onto the B site. 3 rounds in a row. In the 4th round, fake A, go B, fake B, go A. Period. Enemies have 2 or more sentinels. You can also try the mid push or the A split in the first round. 2 players going A main, 3 players going mid, you're going through the art with your teammates, and the spike is going A main. Now, in this match, they have 1 sentinel. So we can do a 5-man push on B, or we can do a split onto A site. But doing a 4-man push through the A main area of the map might be a complete suicide if that sentinel is playing on the A site in the first round. Now, if you're pushing A or mid in the first round with Phoenix, classic, light shield, Molotov, wall. If you're pushing B site in the first round with Phoenix, ghost with a wall. And that's it. So, if you're going A in the first round, essentially, we should take this A main area of the map together with our teammates. Preferably, you should not be the one that is using the flash for the A main area of the map to push the enemies back. Like, tell Faye to use a dog. Tell Wise to use her flash. Take the A main area of the map, jump spot the enemies, create this type of a wall. We can do the molly before the wall for the backside. And then, together with this wall, we're popping out with a flash and taking the fight. Obviously, we should have the smokes for the art, smokes for the art and dugout, pit, I don't know. Europeans call it like enemies are right side, essentially. Now, this Molotov, the best idea where you can use it on the A side is using it at the back side or using it to deny the enemy's peek through this smoke in the art. Also, with this Molotov, what you can do, you can take the space inside of the art, flash the enemies in the art, and take the art control and surprise the enemies there. Now, if you're going through the, basically through mid, through the art onto the A site, you know, simply jump spot the enemies, take this area of the map. If you think one enemy is playing here, do the Molotov, fuck it. But the best idea, if you're splitting the A site through the art, is to use the Molotov to deny this type of a peek from the enemies. So the enemies cannot pop through this smoke and fuck us in the anal cavity as we're taking the A main space. And then when you're pushing through the art, you can simply block off the enemy's vision at the backside, take the frontside control. Maybe you can over-aggress the enemies if you think you can catch them off guard, but you don't need to do that. We can just take the frontside control, plant the spike, and then push together with our teammates. If you're pushing B side in the first round, I mean, you have only one job, which is doing a proper wall for the B cross. That should look like this. Make sure that the wall doesn't have any gaps. Do it a bit further away, like this, so there's no gap here. And then, I mean, you can run it down elbow, flash the enemies in elbow, take the elbow control. If you think that you have a good timing to surprise the enemies, you can flash the enemies through the smoke, take extra space. Depends on a situation. In this round, doing a 4-man push onto A site might be a really bad idea, and you should not have bought the ghost if you're already pushing the A site in the first round. Classic light shield wall and smoke. Of course, like when you're taking the A site space, the most optimal wall that you can use, and probably the best, is if you can get inside of this corner right here, behind the enemy smoke. And essentially, doing the wall like this, that blocks the front vision of the enemies, so we can clear this angle, and then enemies don't know if you're gonna pop through here, if you're gonna pop through here, if we are maybe gonna get into our Molotov and do this, and take the space in the art, or at the backside. Really depends, you know. Both options are fine.
Well,
Sure.
already
One back up.
You know, this is a problem now, like, Deadlock is playing A site, God knows where her sound sensors are. Usually that one sentinel will play on the A site, and we might have a really bad time. When you're dropping a Molotov at the backside, also be a bit careful about it. You know, because if you drop it way too deep or way too shallow, you might not molly this. For example, if the molly lands there, you give this gap. Like, generally speaking, the perfect, you know, distance to drop the Molotov is like when you're 1 or 2 footsteps away from the stairs. Like, basically, you're 1 footstep away from the stairs, like something like this. and then you chuck it, and that's it. I don't think that it matters how high you aim. Just aim as high as you want, essentially. It's gonna naturally drop anyways. So it would be good if you create some kind of a lineup for this, obviously, as with anything. So you don't need to worry about it, like maybe from this position and then running it down. Is that gonna be good enough? Nope, that doesn't work at all. One footstep maybe from this position. Jump and throw. Good enough. I mean, enemies need to... They can still stand here. Create it in a custom server. Like, usually these lineups, it's always better if you create on your own. Okay, so basically, I don't know. You stand on this line, aim here, where this, like, arch is connecting with the wall. Jump and throw. Run and jump and throw, and that's it. Like, fuck it.
Flash.
I don't lose the timing to fight the enemies. Like, timing to fight the enemies is more important than the fucking lineups, especially if you're playing in, you know, these type of lobbies. Now, this is what I was talking about. Like, if you notice that this is happening a lot of times for you, like, basically, enemies are killing your teammates through this smoke 24/7 with a pop flash or with a random peek. Fuck it, like, don't molly the backside. Just molly this art area of the map here, and then you can push through the molly, surprise the enemies with a flash, take this area of the map, and then go back into the site and fight with your teammates on the bomb site.
Right.
I'm in 5. To be honest, this round could have been much worse. Much worse. Like, just if enemies have one sentinel, push B site. It's very simple. Your team, you know, you don't need to worry about the stuns, about the molotovs, about the nades, about this, about that. Like, clean gunfights, pure refrag potential. You're playing a Phoenix, just do a wall, cut off the enemy's vision. You can pop flash the enemies through the wall, take the elbow control. It's really up to you. Now, whenever enemies are eco halberd bonus on a defender side, avoid this area of the map. You don't need it. Fireman push on A or fireman push on B. Usually the best idea, if you win the first round, is just do a fireman push on B. Fuck it. Clean gunfights, refrag potential. We have better guns anyways. Done. With Phoenix, buy Bulldog, heavy shield, with a wall or Molotov. It's really up to you. If you buy a Molotov, use the Molotov for the elbow. As you're taking the space control, get into the elbow, pop flash it, take the elbow control. If you buy the wall, don't overextend over this wall, because there's no reason to. Enemies are eco hal by. Take this space, once again take the elbow control, and then we fight the enemies together with our teammates. Very good.
Will hold up the sky.
I mean, you know, Paris is following majority of these rules. Like, basically during this match, he followed like 80% of rules that we were talking about. But those 20% of times really costed us a lot, you know, some really stupid rounds, to be honest.
Guys, go with the team.
Come here.
Listen, if you're going B in the second round, don't buy a Spectre. Like, we're gonna be fighting enemies primarily in medium range and long range gunfights. Buy a Bulldog. Bulldog is probably the most optimal weapon on the attacker side of Pearl, because we can fight medium range, long range, close range fights. That's it. Only if you're pushing A side 3 rounds in a row, or splitting A side 3 rounds in a row, then buy a Spectre, Stinger, like whatever you prefer of these two weapons.
Which guys go in there?
We need to clear. Listen, like, if you don't have any recon abilities for these two angles, and we don't know if the enemies are here, your main focus, mentally, physically with the crosser, should be clearing this and this before your teammates start dying. Also, sometimes, if you notice that your teammates are dying a lot of the times here, fuck it. Use your Molotov for this, or use your Molotov for this. Deny one angle.
You're behind
Rip and tear. No more thorns.
Be mega careful. Ooh, camera focus. Okay, okay, but probably because of this. Just a moment. Professor Xavier fixed it. Listen, be mega careful how you're using the Phoenix wall. Like, if you use the wall way too close, like for example, you want to use this type of a wall, there's gonna be a gap right here. You cannot have these type of gaps instead of your wall. How do we prevent this wall? We put ourselves one footstep away, one silent step actually, from the wall from which we are placing our Phoenix wall. So we do the wall like this, and voila, no gap. Same on the B set as well. I see a lot of the Phoenix players, they do some kind of a shit like this. We need to travel to B, like this. Big gap. What if I'm playing here with a jet, or I don't know, I'm just playing here. Which is not that, or, I mean, I'm playing here. I can see you, your teammates are not gonna think about it. You know? So you need to think about this instead of them. So if you're doing a B wall, just make sure that you're, you know, from this position you can do it, essentially. Not actually, like, you need to be further away. Like, there should not be a single gap right there.
One is on the street.
Thorns down.
Listen, when you're taking the elbow control, if you don't have the information about the enemies here, clear that shit first, and then focus on the enemies on the right side. Like, you cannot path like this, man. Especially when the enemies are eco and half by. We needed to clear this. Flash, take this control. Also, I mean, a habit that you should have with Phoenix when you're taking the B side. I mean, in this scenario, we had a Sage slow orb. But without the orb, like, you should be using a Molotov here, like, 90% of times. When you're taking the B main control. I mean, generally the B side control. Like, that Molly just denies the enemies from peeking us from the elbow. We can focus on the enemies here. Then with this Molotov, we can just take the full elbow control and that's it. Sometimes, what is a good idea, if you have a lot of abilities to drop onto the enemies, is using a molly here. So the enemies from the elbow cannot escape into the CT, and they are stuck there. And then when we are doing the execute, let's say for example, like, we have a Sage slow orb there, we do this wall, do this Molotov, now enemies are stuck. Now we can just run at them, do the flash here, take an easy kill. Enemies are stuck, that's it. Or, you will push this enemy all the way here, in an unfavorable position, an unfavorable fight. And we don't need to worry about a guy standing here, doing this, or doing this. So you have a Sheriff and Spectre. I mean, that's okay, but I don't know, I just buy a Bulldog in the second round if you're pushing the B set, to be honest.
Reloading. Flashing.
Careful now.
There's a gun.
One enemy remaining.
They were not.
Solid. Solid. I mean, your team has made a bit of a mistakes. They were over-peaking. And generally, like, you want to fight these type of fights. You know? Like, in a post-plans, when you have numbers advantage and economy advantage, your main focus is, you know, taking these fights. Before you end up 1 versus 3. But what you did at the end, like, you know, solid. I mean, this is what you should be doing with Phoenix, like, making the enemies think that you use the Molotov as a passive tool to deny their push, picking a good timing to pop flash, taking easy kills. Sure, fine, all good. Now, this is why I advise you, like, to push A site or B site 3 rounds in a row, to not be a predictable enemy. Like, right now, based on your pattern of pushing, I would heavily gamble onto the A site. Like, I would start my round in the art, and I would put at least 3 of my players here, plus the deadlock.
That's how you get
Can you
critical
come here and
on
flash high?
super pros.
If I take
Listen. Oh, okay, we're playing on the contact, to be honest here. Like, I mean, if you're playing on the contact, the aim and aim of the map, just be the shit one out of one of your teammates and push behind him and make sure that you're ready to refrag him. But whenever you're taking this aggressively, ask for some ability. Like, to tell the Vice to use the flash here. You can waste one of your flashes to push the enemies back. Like, there's just too many off angles and, you know, different variations that enemies can use here to fuck us up. It's not worth it, like, you know.
Alright, wait for this flash.
You should have flashed, to be honest. Ah, Gecko's flashing. Okay, good.
We could have it. There's probably more than one.
Listen, like, when you're playing Phoenix on the attack, try to farm out these orbs. I mean, like, your ultimate is only 6 ultimate points. Fuck your teammates, man. You know? Like, Phoenix is one of these rare agents where it is worth it wasting a bit of your time picking up the orbs in ranked solo queue. Like, on most of the agents, I would just advise you to play with your most aggressive teammates. Don't lose the time. You know, if there's something better for you to do, such as supporting your allies and going into the site and executing bomb sites, fighting the enemies, do that. But just Phoenix is, you know, like 6 ultimate orbs for a second life. It's a good trade. And you should be farming these orbs, like, especially on Pearl, like A site, you know, in aim and area of the map, like, it's a free orb. Waste, like, 2 seconds to pick it up, and then let's execute the site.
By the way, varför att kilja en hjärnspik? Easy.
You're rotating from location A to location B. You have no idea where the fuck are the enemies. Your gun is out, and you're clearing every single angle as if the enemies can be there, and will be there. Let's do it. Well,
Someone might be pushed up.
we tried at least.
Take R, Phoenix, take R.
Listen, whenever you're rotating from A to B, and you have no idea if an enemy is here, take this pathing. Like this. And clear this angle. Like, basically, we really, you know, here, both you and your teammates kinda half-assed this angle. Like, one enemy can hide there, you know, maybe with a sheriff, wrap you around, kill you. God knows. Actually, none of your teammates even checked that. I don't know, like, maybe they just run forward.
Take R, Phoenix, take R.
Yes, sir.
Do you have a...
And also, check this position. You really don't want to die from the guy that is hiding there.
Station or...
Wingman's
I don't know what
planting.
this guy said, but it's Gucci.
Careful now.
Concealment.
Spike planted. Thanks.
Very good job. Very good job. Generally speaking, like, when you're taking the B-side control, like, take the elbow first, clear the elbow, and then focus on everything else.
This guy actually screamed out of this.
No reason to flash, just... Listen, same as with any other agent in the game, when you create a huge numbers advantage, just fight. Fuck the abilities, fuck the flashes, fuck everything, like, just take every fight that your teammates are taking. Raw refrag potential. Because if you flash here anything, like, you might flash your teammates to the oblivion, and it's just better to play a clean crossfire refrag game and that's it.
Oh, that's friend.
Play cross, play cross.
Play cross, brother.
That's what I'm doing, my friend.
And you.
One enemy remaining.
I flash him.
Watch your eyes. My ultimate's ready.
With this energy.
No, I mean, this one we should also send a B, to be honest, like, because enemies are eco. I'll buy They have no fucking idea what they're doing. They're delaying and stopping our push with a deadlock utility on A. As long as one site is working easily for you, or enemies have a terrible team composition to defend that bomb site, keep abusing it until it stops working. But a very good rule that you should use in Valorant, if you end up on one site 3 rounds in a row, even in the middle of the match, like 6th round, 7th round, 8th round, it doesn't matter. In the 4th round, do the fake. Because if you, especially if you win all 3 rounds in a row on that site, because when you win 3 rounds in a row or push 3 rounds in a row, one bomb site in the same fucking way, you damage enemy's mentality a lot. They will start naturally pulling much faster rotations towards that area of the map, rotating faster, and also putting more focus onto that site. So here we can push B site one more time, and then in the next round doing a fake on B would be amazing.
Probably gonna be playing the shotguns on the backside.
You're playing shotgun.
Also, it is a bit criminal that we don't have a smoke here from the Astra. Like, if you have Astra in the team, like, the only job that guy has at the start of every single round, if you're playing Astra on Pearl, you should be doing this smoke to safely cross this area of the map and to keep enemies guessing whether or not you're gonna end up on B and whether or not somebody crossed right here. Like, that smoke is a huge pressure making tool.
You're my dude behind pillar. Yep.
Enemy
Please check the, your main pathing when you're taking the beam control with any agent is something like this. Like jump spotting this angle, checking these positions, that position, this position. Instantly turning your focus on this. You can also jump, because maybe some idiot will try to do this, which doesn't work that well now, but I saw it in my Radiant match a few days ago, and it was crazy that someone is trying to do that now. Then you path on the right side, clearing this angle, checking this position, getting here, and getting ready for the execute. Doing a wall. We can do the molly. Going in, checking this corner. We can maybe surprise enemies with various different peaks or simply take the control at the backside. One thing that you should also try to practice with Phoenix is doing different type of flashes. Like trying to... Like, basically, the perfect Phoenix flash is something like this, where enemies don't have a lot of time to react on your flash, and it is traveling, like, slower to the ground, so that you can peek together with your flash, almost, essentially. The worst Phoenix flash you can do is, like, getting super close to the angle and doing this. Then enemies see a huge trail of the flash, they can turn around, maybe kill you.
100%.
Wait. Let me move.
I mean, listen, like, generally speaking, if you have a Phoenix ultimate, like, and you're pushing B site, you have 2 options. Option number 1, using the wall, then using the ultimate, using a molly here, and then running it at the backside to kill this guy. Option number 2 is simply using this wall with the ultimate, mollying the backside, and then through your wall, you're trying to take the space and trying to take initial contact with the enemies. Now, whichever option you decide to use, it's really up to you and where you think enemies are playing at that moment of time.
Bro, let me go somewhere.
But this was criminal, man, like what happened in this round.
Mike sticky. Thanks, little man.
We're playing to the spike, I mean, job done.
Careful now.
Lille är så dåligt så det var dags.
That was a complete waste of a Molotov, no reason to do that. Like, literally, you should have just pulled back and played with your teammates, and that's it. I don't know why you're even taking this fight, to be honest.
right there.
Rip and tear.
Enemy
They have
B.
no smoke.
Drone's activated.
Just flip off.
Also, brother, like, if you have Wise in your team, as a solo, Sentinel, that guy needs to give us a wall. For this, like, If you're doing a 5-man push on B, we need to have this wall. I mean, if you don't have a utility behind us, and you don't know if all of the enemies are on the site, as soon as you plant the spike, look behind you. I like the new face skin, Papito. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Whatever, just swing.
I like it as well.
Dängd. Finish now. Smoke.
I have a flow.
One enemy remaining.
You, bro.
As I said, in this round, the best idea would have been to fake B and go A, or to fake A and go B. 3 rounds in a row we finished on B, and you saw that last round. Enemies did rotation like this. Like they rotated immediately. If you see that you already damaged the enemy's mentality so much, you know what to do. You know what to do.
Next slide maybe.
It's you and me.
Swing
What the fuck?
and a missy.
Never path like this when you're taking the B main area of the map. If you're going in first. Path like this only if you have one teammate already in front of you. Always try to path like this when you're taking the B main area of the map. It is a lot safer and better. You're not exposing yourself to an enormous amount of off angles and positions from which enemies can kill you on the site. Your job is to get here, wall, molly, flash, safely take this area of the map. You don't want to die while you're taking this type of a fight.
That's spike, wait.
Wall raised.
That's done.
Good flick. Okay. I mean, it's 5 versus 2 in this post lane, like, it literally doesn't matter what. I mean, it's Immortal 3 lobby. Like, even if you die right now, they're probably gonna win this round. I don't know, like.
Careful now.
Oh, it's what?
Plus, we have a huge
Territory
9.
lies.
9.
nine.
There's a cat in the wall. Perfect player on Vice.
That was close.
You are.
Here.
Γιατί θα πούμε νικήσαμε το round.
I mean, obviously, the best game decision in that scenario was to fuck away from the site, get behind, get in the B main, and play a postman like a normal human being. Obviously, but yeah.
Αν το χάναμε θα έφυγε. Έτσι πως παίζεις. Δεν ήμασταν καν 5v, you can't build a 5v2.
Blow him up, Marsh.
Like sometimes you play like you don't give a fuck. Like, you know, this will bite your ass a lot of the times, man. Like, I feel that you become mega relaxed when you start winning a lot. You know, you start giving less fuck when it comes to angle clearing, when it comes to taking the space, when it comes to utility usage. But as you could have seen on a defender side, as soon as we dropped our guard down, we went from 5-0 to 6-6. So you need to fix that part of your gameplay, where you can keep your focus throughout the whole match. Like, just get into a mentality where the more I'm winning, the higher are the chances actually to lose the game. Like, these type of games are the easiest to be lost. To lose, essentially. Because you will start giving less fuck, your teammates are also going to drop their guards down, and all of a sudden from 11-6, we are like, I don't know, 11-10, for an example. Also, this Molotov at the backside, pay attention, man, like, you know, if you're dropping this molly, you need to drop it based on the distance where you are. That like, you cannot drop the Molotov like this, because it doesn't do shit. Like, I mean, enemies can still stand here. For this molly, like, it's, once again, really good if you have some kind of a improvised lineup. It doesn't need to be something super, super good. We can maybe test it right now. This is a bit better. Because you flush this enemy all the way here. And he cannot play on all of these angles, taking the cover. And you know, isolating different fights. But probably, like, there's some super good Molotov lineup that you can just learn in a custom game. Like, right now what I'm trying to do is basically I'm crossing this pillar, looking at this line, and dropping the Molotov based on this shit. Which is okay, I mean, it's not that bad, but probably there's a better way to do it. What if you drop it on this? Nah, that's the best you can do it, actually.
Doors activated.
Who's next?
I got the spike.
Uh-oh.
Spike down B.
Listen, when your teammates are getting pressured so much by the enemies, but you're already on the site, try to fight harder for the elbow control. Like here, you know, backing off in the B-main, even though the Yoru has the ultimate, not really the best idea. Especially since your Gecko is still on the site. Like, keep the elbow control. You have a lot of cover to fight the enemies left and right. But I don't know what Gecko tried to do. My dude is crazy, bro.
Spike down B. Reloading.
Okay.
Reloading.
Watch your eyes. Watch your eyes.
Last player stand.
The moral of this story is that you should have kept the elbow control together with the Gecko. Even though enemy Yoru with ultimate is pushing you, you have a lot of cover where you can pop flash the enemies, fuck them up, and even if that Yoru comes out with the ultimate, you should have the shorty with yourself to counter the Yoru's ultimate. If he is, you know,
Ending.
popping out with a shotgun.
I can ult A.
Oh,
Can you flash?
art
Pushing
peak.
out.
Gecko, can you flash?
Good hit.
Gecko can't flash. I should be taking that.
There's deadlock wall here.
Hey, there always is, man.
Taking that back.
Don't
Leave
be
it alone.
My territory, my rules.
Moral of the story is try to fake more when you notice that enemies are super fast on rotations. Like here, I don't know. Both you and Gecko should have been with a Vise, while Sage and Astra are making pressure on A.
Two guys here, two guys on A. Let's go B, let's go B. Two guys on B, two guys on B.
Especially if you make a pick. I mean, like, in the worst case scenario, you're like 3 versus 2, 3 versus 1. I mean, whatever, like, this round is already over. Just play with your allies.
They're rotating through mid.
I don't know what you're doing here, like, literally, like, you know, your advice, clear the whole B site alone. Fuck you, just go B main. All three of you, you know, use Sage and Astra, and play a regular post plant. No reason to complicate anything. The round is over.
30 seconds left.
Full flash. Feel on me. Full flash.
One enemy remaining.
Fatigue.
Κλες. Γεια σου, το είπαμε με δέρεις.
Need the back.
there.
Flash placed. Blinding.
After you play with that,
Try to fire more of these orbs. You're playing Phoenix. You know, right here, if you picked up that orb in the B main, and because of this kill, we have the ultimate.
Thorns are alive.
There.
Enemies.
The guy's tilting the Yoru. He said unlucky.
wait, who did the orb?
Reloading.
Man.
Thorns. Thorns activated. Blinding.
Okay, I really hope that we... You know, in this type of situations, if you never use this strategy, do it in ranked solo queue. So basically, whenever your push gets delayed and stopped, one of the first strategies that you want to use in ranked solo queue is the 20-second rule. So basically, cut the noise for 20 seconds and reheat the same site. It can be either 20 or 30 seconds. If they drop a smoke, 30 is a bit better. Because, you know, anyways, you're gonna be delayed by the smoke for like 15-16 seconds, so it is predictable.
Wait, where are you taking all my orbs, bro?
Enemy spotted.
After 20-30 seconds, like, enemies are probably gonna peek you, they're gonna be over-aggressive, they're gonna rotate, like, players in Valorant don't have patience to hold the angles and to be disciplined for 20-30 seconds.
Yeah, one right side, right side.
Sit down.
We're getting...
Oh yeah! Monster on the move!
One back side, one
Ultimate's
link,
ready.
link, link.
Come on, let's go!
The wall.
Spike
Weźcie
stick.
się na
Thanks,
dole.
little man.
Yeah.
I have ult, I have ult.
One enemy remaining.
Crazy round. Crazy round. Listen, Paris, man. Like, things are working for you. You know? Like, there is no reason to change something in your training or aim training if the things are working out. Like, this act, you have a 53% win rate. 53%. Like, all of your stats are looking good. You play well on the agents that you're using right now. The only pick that I would consider is, like, you know, testing Phoenix a bit more and giving him some love. And when it comes to the Sova pick, I would maybe consider maybe Tejo. Tejo is really good for these high-low lobbies, so maybe you can try him for a few games, but you don't need to do that. I mean, Sova works really well on all of these maps in the current map rotation, except maybe Fracture and I don't know what else we have, like. But, you know, you never want to try to fix something that is not broken, essentially. Like, it's just matter... Right now, we need to see what you're gonna do in the next act. Because this act, you had a rank reset. You went from Ascendant 1 to Immortal 3 again. Next act is the act that's gonna decide a lot of the things for us. So, if you have the problems in the next act, reaching like 400 to 500 rank rating, then we should change the improvement plan, training, and aim training routine for you. But other than that, like, all of your current problems can be summarized on what we've explained on Defender side of this VOD review. So yeah, I mean, pretty solid, like, whatever, you know, like, very high ADR, high KD, positive win rate, like, you know? I think it's just a matter of time, like, when you're gonna hit a new peak rank, and I think that time is gonna come during the next act. But also, Paris, when you watch this, remember that, you know, because we did a 1-month coaching, like, you can abuse the shit out of me. Like, every day, you can share 3 clips with me. Every day. Like, we can discuss so many, like, because in this VOD review, like, I don't know, on the attacker side was walk through the park. Enemies were shit, to be honest. Like, there was nothing really to see. Like, every day you can share 3 clips for a quick review. Every month you can share 1 VOD for a private review. So, you know, send me the other maps that we didn't VOD review, especially Icebox and Ascent, because we didn't have time to do those maps. And other than that, like, I really have nothing else to tell you. Like, it was a bit of a mediocre VOD, to be honest, but on a defender side, you need to pay more attention, like, how you're playing. You should play more semi-aggressive in some of these rounds. You need to focus more on team play and what your teammates are doing. And you need to keep focused through a longer period, like, through the whole match. Like, you drop your guard down as soon as you start winning a lot. Like, you start giving less fuck. You need to fix that mindset during the games. But other than that, like, I don't know. Already at the tracker review, he was, you know, I mean, it's really fucking good. Like really, really good. Really, really good. Okay, that's gonna be it when it comes to this one. Thank you for watching. Leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe. Join my Discord server. Tomorrow I'm organizing a giveaway for free coaching and stuff. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.